Hello, hello to our lovely viewers, and welcome to another episode of Sessions with Koren. On last week's episode, we spent a lot of time speaking about relationships. And in addition to all the things we talked about, we looked at a matter of intimacy, or as our guest put it, into-me-see. I just want to remind you today that your relationship with yourself is just as important as your relationship with others. You can check out last week and other episodes on ABS's YouTube channel. Today, we're going to speak about an important topic, that of financial and retirement planning. Ladies and gentlemen, you absolutely need to hear this. Financial and retirement planning. Do you want to be financially secure? Do you want to be wealthy? Do you want to have a robust retirement plan? If your answer to any of these questions is yes, then stay tuned and we will speak with our guest right after the break. Welcome back. With me today in studio is Mr. Eswick Sullivan. He is a financial advisor who specializes in personal financial planning. Mr. Sullivan has received several outstanding sales awards and has conducted countless sales and personal financial seminars over the years. Mr. Sullivan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me, Koren.
Okay, and welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay. So first of all, the big question, what exactly is financial wellness?
Okay. Financial wellness is relative.
Okay.
All right? And it really depends upon the individual. Everyone would have their own goals, objectives, and so on. And based on that, that will be a good determination of how well off you are when it comes to finances. So, you know, your ability to achieve those goals or on target to achieve those objectives that you may have, that would be a fairly good indication of as to your financial wellness. So it's basically an assessment of how well a person is managing their own finances.
An assessment of how well you're managing your finances.
Correct.
So then at what point can I say I am financially well? Suppose I just have $10 in my Ovaltine tin at home. When do I say I'm financially well? Okay,
so look at it this way.
Okay.
You have an objective, whether it's to build a home, whether it's to ensure your children are able to get a good education, whatever the situation is. Are you able to achieve those objectives without any form of major struggle? You understand? So this is why I say it's highly dependent upon the individuals. What are your priorities? What is important to you? And how well are you able to achieve those, you know, those personal objectives that you would have established for yourself?
I like that because it varies for every person.
It does.
Your objectives might not be mine, might not be the person next door. So
Correct.
It depends on what I want to achieve. I need to set goals for that and I need to plan.
Correct, indeed.
Is budgeting necessary or should we just go from month to month? Is budgeting really important?
Budgeting is absolutely necessary. Let me draw a little scenario here. Let's say you are the owner of a business and you know, you just kind of freestyle with that business. Whatever money it makes, whatever you spend, and you don't take any time to really managing the finances of that business, right? What is likely to happen to that business? Chances are it wouldn't survive very long. Now, a business would have its financial statements, its balance sheet, and so on to tell the owner or the persons in charge of running that business how well that business is doing. Okay, so let's transfer that to a personal perspective. All right. The first thing persons need to understand is that all of us are business owners. The first business any of us will own is our personal lives.
Ah, I never thought of that.
Yes.
I never thought of that.
Indeed, indeed. So consider the income you earn from your occupation or whatever it is that you do. That's the revenue your business generates. And whatever you spend your income on, those are the expenses of your business.
Okay.
All right? So like a business that will have its financial statements and balance sheet and so on to guide you and to help the owners make business decisions that will help to improve that business performance. For us as individuals, that is our personal budget.
Yes.
That budget is supposed to guide our decisions. It's supposed to help us improve on our regular finances and where we are and so on. And no, a budget is not just making a list. If you're making a list and you're just recycling that list every month, it's kind of, defeating the purpose. A budget is supposed to help you improve. And so that's the importance for everyone to do a personal budget.
Okay, I like that analogy because most people tend to think if I have a business, I need to have a that sort of itemized way in which I spend money and receive money. But just as a person who's paying rent, utilities, food, school fees, we need to also have that documentation.
Indeed. Indeed.
All right, so budget for everyone. Okay, so the financial plan now, what are the elements when I'm making a financial plan? So we understand the budget, how much I'm getting, what's coming out, and all that. But when I'm making this financial plan with a goal in mind, what are some of the key things that I need to consider and our viewers need to consider when making a financial plan? Okay,
so having a financial plan is important for two main reasons.
Okay.
All right? And that's time and money. Those are two very important resources when it comes to your planning, right? Because if we have all the time in the world, there's no need to plan. Whenever we get it done, we get it done. If we have all the money we need available to us, it's unlimited, then why bother, all right? So having a financial plan, because these two resources are very limited. And as individuals, we have to be able to do what is necessary to maximize the resources that we have available to us to accomplish the goals that we need to accomplish, correct? Great. So what are the elements of a financial plan? So when it comes to your personal financial planning, all right, there are, I would say, three main areas that everyone should be paying attention to.
Okay.
The first one being the protection aspect of your planning.
Protection.
Protection aspect of your planning.
I should have brought pen and paper to make notes. Protection.
Yes, the protection aspect of your planning. And that could include protecting your assets, your valuables, your loved ones, and so on and so forth. So all that is a very important component of your planning. The next is the emergency aspect of your planning.
Emergency.
All right, because yes, emergencies happen all the time. And if we're not prepared for it, it can have a very devastating financial effect
Bring
on
us down to our knees,
Indeed.
actually, yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
So you need to pay attention to all the emergencies and financial risks that we're likely to face and set a plan in place to address these issues should it occur.
Okay.
All right. And finally, it's your cash accumulation, right? Something that will help you to consistently accumulate money for yourself. Now this,
I like that one.
Yes. Now
I
this,
like that one.
Yes, indeed. Now this cash accumulation, it could be for any reason. All right.
Okay.
It could be getting a home. It could be financing your children's education. It could be ensuring you're having a good and comfortable retirement, and so on and so forth. So I would say those are some of the main elements to take into consideration when you're talking about your financial planning.
Okay, so there must be protection. If you have a home, perhaps you should have insurance or
Indeed.
some sort of backup.
Correct.
Your valuables in a safe.
Correct.
Somebody else should know where things are.
Correct.
So there's that. There's the emergency planning. And then there is the cash accumulation, which is my favorite part.
Yes.
In terms of the emergency planning, how much should we have on hand just in case, though?
Well, when it comes to emergency planning, one of the things that I like to recommend is to have at least 6 months of your monthly expenses.
That's a lot of money, 6 months living expenses, okay.
6 months of your monthly expenses. One of the reasons for that is you want to ensure that in the event of job loss, maybe illness, and you're not able to work to earn an income and so on, that you have enough money available to you to take care of all your expenses for at least half of the year.
Yes.
All right. So that will give you some time to readjust, whether it's to find a new job, whether it's to recover, and so on and so forth. And that should be a good starting place for, as I said, the emergency fund, right? Now, as you mentioned, it can be a lot, all right? And generally, you're not just able to just have an emergency fund established. So it becomes something that you work towards, okay? So you accomplish 1 month, you try to push for the next, and you just keep it going. And once you're consistent, eventually you'll get to that state where you're able to have some funds available in the event an emergency should occur.
Okay, so viewers, try to have at least 6 months of your income saved, because if you're job hunting, if you lose your job, there's no guarantee you'll get a job right away. Children still need to eat, bills still need to be paid. That's really important.
And a prime example of that is COVID.
COVID, you know, oh yes. A lot
of the countries basically shut down for practically, let's say, about half of the year.
Yes,
right?
people struggle.
A lot of businesses closed, persons were unemployed, and so on. And had you had the funds available to you at that time, yes, it would be difficult, but a little bit more manageable, because at least you have the funds available to take care of the things you need to take care of. Definitely.
I agree with that. There's one word you use that I love: consistency.
Yes.
Consistency is such a big word. One of the things I read up about, Eswick, is this thing about like compound interest, right? And one of the things I saw is that even if you put a little bit away over a long period of time, it builds up and builds up and builds up, but you have to be consistent.
Indeed.
You have to be consistent with it.
Indeed.
In terms of the Antigua culture, do you recommend saving in a bank or the box hands that we throw? Is there any preference or any benefits in terms of either one?
Well, the thing is, that's an individual choice.
Okay.
All right, that's an individual choice. So I would not say one method, you should do this method as opposed to the other, all right? And sometimes it's a matter of convenience. So sometimes doing a box might just be convenient in order for you to achieve the things that you want to achieve for that in that particular point in time, right? The banks, they have many retirement savings accounts that you can, contribute to and so on, that will help you in terms of that. And there are other elements such as endowments and so on that will ensure that a lump sum is available to you at a particular time and so on. So yes, there's a number of financial instruments available when it comes to your planning, yes.
All right, I'm glad we have options.
Yes.
You mentioned endowment and all that, and I know a lot of that is money like you put up for later on. So speak to us briefly about the matter of retirement planning. Should retirement planning start at 50? Should it start at 40, 30? When should retirement planning start?
Well, what I like to say is that retirement planning should have started yesterday, if you haven't started as yet. Okay?
Wow.
But the sooner the better.
Okay.
And one of the reasons for that is because the sooner you start with your planning, the more time you have to develop a more robust plan.
Yes.
Okay? And as you so mentioned, with time, the more time you have with elements such as compound interest and so on, you're able to accumulate a lot more. Now, this is not to say that, if you didn't start your planning, that it's too late. It's never too late. Okay? You can't do anything about past time. All you can really do is to do an assessment as to where you are, where you'd like to be, and have a conversation in terms of the path forward, in terms of accomplishing that goal that you have in mind.
Okay, so I should have started yesterday.
Indeed.
I didn't. For somebody like me, I just turned 50 the other day. And for those who did not get a chance to start at 20, 30, 50, and by the way, a lot of our viewers, they would have been spending time in college and doing other things. So they kind of started a little late. For people who are starting a little late, better late than never, right?
Indeed.
Are there any specific tips you can give for those who are late starters for like 50 and you're retiring at maybe 65? We don't have as much time as the 20 and 30-year-olds.
Indeed.
What can we do to
So
speed up?
Basically, when you're starting at a later age in terms of planning for your retirement, okay, you have to make that conscious decision that you have to allocate a lot more resources towards your retirement, okay? And sometimes that's where the issue lies, because the later you start, yes, you may have to make a lot more contributions in order to achieve the goal that you're seeking to achieve. All right, you know, but you know, as I said, it's never too late. There are options for persons who are starting a little later. You know, there's what we call annuities, which comes in handy in situations like that. So it's all dependent on the person's current position, their financial capabilities, and so on, and then you try to assess what might be their best option going forward in terms of achieving that objective.
Okay, good. So even if you're starting late, you just have to do a little more.
Yes, indeed.
You just have to do a little more.
Yes.
What are some of the options? You mentioned endowment. I don't know if our viewers will understand what an endowment is, but what are some of the options that people can put into now so that when they're age 65, they can get either a lump sum or a monthly payment? What are some of the options you can share with our viewers?
Well, there's that endowment, okay, and as I so mentioned, that it's a particular amount is endowed to you at a specific time.
Okay.
So that works. There are annuities, which gives you a little bit more flexibility in terms of your contributions and so on.
Okay.
So you can actually grow that at a faster rate and so on, and these kind of things. But as I mentioned, the banks will have certain saving options, but the main thing to keep in mind if you're starting late is that you may have to allocate a little bit more resources specifically towards your retirement.
All right, so we really want to encourage our viewers to check out their banks or some insurance companies and see what the options are in terms of endowment plans, annuity plans, savings, whatever you can.
Correct.
Even if you have to use box hand, do something, just do something. And the other thing you mentioned, protection. Let's talk a little bit about protection. Are there any documents that a person needs to have in place when it relates to protection? Documents or strategies even, as it relates to protecting the assets that you are accumulating?
Agreed. Now, in terms of asset protection, insurance is a great option. You know, that will ensure in the event of, you know, we live in a region where there are hurricanes and, you know, if there's a fire and so on, that at least that asset can be replaced. All right, so that's always a good option.
Yes.
In terms of other documentation, in terms of your planning and so on, there's a will that is very, very important to have, especially as it relates to your estate. Simply because you know, you've seen so many situations where family members are fighting over who should get what and these kind of things. So a will will definitely make that process a lot easier because your last wishes are carried out according to your plan.
Yes.
All right. There is also what we call a proxy, a health proxy in situations such as that.
Yes.
Let's say you were to get ill or you're incapacitated in some particular way. That person is assigned to make certain medical decisions as it relates to you. All right, and similar to that, there is a power of attorney which gives someone the authority to make financial and personal business conduct, personal and financial decisions and what's the word I'm looking for?
They make personal decisions, financial decisions, and they can sign certain things
Correct.
for you too.
in your place, on your behalf, basically.
Yes.
All right. So there are certain documents that as an individual you can set in place that would allow you to ensure that all these areas are covered. Yes. And you know, it's not just left up to the legal system to determine what happens to your assets and so on, should anything happen to you. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that will you talked about is so important. If you have a legacy, you get a chance when you're of sound mind to decide who do you want to inherit your estate.
Yes,
because
indeed.
if you don't have a will, then it's done in some sort of legal form, and where it goes might not be where you want it to go.
Indeed, yes.
So
definitely.
now that you have sound mind, now is the time to do that.
Yes, have your plan in place.
Yes. So we talked about goals a person might have. They want to go to school, they want to get a master's degree, they want to build a house. And then we talked about retirement planning. how do you create a balance? I have this amount of money, only this much. I want to put some aside for the future, but I need to have a good quality of life now. I want to have education. I want to do home ownership. How do you balance this one little bit of money between the two things, living now and preparing for retirement?
Well, the thing is, it's about prioritizing. Okay? At different stages in life, different things becomes a priority. Okay? Now, it's not to say that you know, when you're planning, it's a one-time event occurrence. Okay, it is something that is continuous. As you go through life, different things becomes important that you have to pay attention to, and as you go along, you should be updating your plan accordingly. Okay, making the necessary adjustments to ensure that you're on track in terms of achieving the objective that you had in mind. Right?
Yes.
So, in terms of how do you balance it, it really comes down to what is priority at the time.
Yes.
And that will determine what gets the most of your resources and so on and so forth. Exactly, all right? Because, you know, sometimes we're not in a position where we're able to do everything all at once. But as I said, with a good plan, at least you can have certain time frame by which you want to get certain things done. And because you're aware of that time frame, you're able to set things in place that can give you a better guide in terms of achieving those objectives.
Okay, I love that. That's pretty good. One of the things I want to say, though, with everything that you're sharing, is that I want to make an appeal to the banks, to the insurance companies, to employers, to educational institutions, to teach financial planning, teach retirement planning. We have experts like Mr. Sullivan and others around, and we have a responsibility. A lot of workplaces offer workplace loans, and if you have an organization and you realize the staff are coming frequently for payday loans, that should say something. We need to educate our public. We need to educate our children. Even when we're giving our children allowances, you know?
Yes.
Children, when they get a $5 allowance, shouldn't they be told, listen, you need to put aside something?
Yes, you train them from young, from early, you know, in developing the right habits, you know, because these habits are going to help them in the long run, you know, and, you know, you don't find yourself just spending because, you know, if you really look at it, we have about, I'll say, 40 years, 30 to 40 years of working time, right, in terms of income earning time.
Yes.
And, you know, unfortunately for many persons at the younger stage, you're not necessarily thinking along the lines of retirement planning and these kind of things. You know, that's when you're spending, you know, without thinking twice and so on. Yes. So I think, as you mentioned, you know, having the right education and guidance in these areas will help persons to make better decisions from a earlier stage and be in a better financial position as they progress through life.
Yes, absolutely. Education is important. The right mindset is important. Our mindset towards money. Some of us are just consumers.
Yes.
As soon as we get our salary, the first thing we do is like we buy. We live in Amazon and Temu and eBay and these type of things. Nothing is wrong with spending. Nothing is wrong with having a good quality of life. But we have to understand, what are your priorities? How comfortable do you want to be as you reach the age of retirement? What do you want to leave for your family? What habits you want your children to learn from you? So, Mr. Sullivan, you've been awesome, awesome, awesome.
Thank you very much.
We're definitely going to have a part 2. But
sure.
I have another question for you. It's not related to your topic.
Okay.
We have a mystery question. Our guest before always leaves a question for the next guest to come. And it's not necessarily related to the topic, so I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
So the question from our previous guest is, do you see a difference between religion and spirituality? And if so, what is it?
Oh.
I know, right?
Wow, that one is really putting me on the spot. Okay.
That's the whole point of it.
Yes. To me, I do see a difference between religion and spirituality.
Okay.
Right? When it comes to religion, there are certain set guidelines that governs various religions and so on and so forth. And for me, spirituality is it's more personal. It's not necessarily an institution or religion or organization. It's more personal. You know, your personal connection with God, your relationship with Him, how you feel, and so on and so forth. So I do believe that's a distinctive difference between the two. All right, because we've seen many heated debates on the topic of religion, which I really try to stay clear of from time to time.
Me too.
But you know, there are different governing principles from one religion to the next, and so on. And sometimes it can get a little tense when it comes to that particular subject matter. But for me, as long as you have that good personal relationship with God, I think you'll be fine.
That's great.
Yes.
Thank you so much. That is so very important. We really appreciate your time and your expertise. Viewers, we will be back with you right after the break. Welcome back. Building wealth with a limited income may require strategic planning and disciplined financial habits. Here are 8 tips to help you with limited income find success on the journey of wealth building. Number 1, create a budget. Develop a comprehensive budget that outlines your income, expenses, and savings goals. Prioritize essential expenses, cut unnecessary costs, and allocate a portion of your income to savings and investments. Number 2, set realistic goals. Define specific and achievable financial goals, whether it's an emergency fund, debt reduction, or a savings for a major purchase. Having clear objectives provides direction and motivation. Number 3, emergency fund. Establish an emergency fund to cover unexpected expenses. Having a financial safety net prevents the need to rely on credit or to go into debt during challenging times. Number 4, consistent savings. Even with a limited income, commit to consistent savings. You can automate your contributions to a savings account to ensure regular deposits. No matter how small, put something towards your wealth building goals. Number 5, educate yourself. Continuously educate yourself on personal finance. Take advantage of online resources, books, workshops, anything to enhance your financial literacy and to make informed decisions. Number 6, debt management. Prioritize paying down high interest debt. Focus on clearing outstanding balances to reduce your interest payments and free up more money for saving and investing. Number 7, explore side income opportunities, or what some of us call side hustle. Look for additional sources of income, such as freelancing, part-time work, or a little business of your own. Supplementing your primary income can accelerate your wealth building journey. And number 8, live below your means. Adopt a frugal lifestyle and practice living below your means. It doesn't mean you can't have fun sometimes, but differentiate between your needs and your wants and make conscious spending choices, not emotional spending. This approach allows you to save and invest more of your income. Remember, wealth building is a gradual process and consistency is key. Even small, consistent efforts over time can lead to significant financial growth. Adjust your strategies as your income increases and regularly review and update your financial plan to stay on track towards your wealth building goals. Time now for your golden nuggets for today. True financial freedom is not only about how much money you have, it's about having the freedom to make choices without financial constraint. I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for spending time with us every week and for watching this show. I also want to take this opportunity to wish you all the best with your financial and retirement planning goals. Remember to ask for help if you need it, and we look forward to hearing from you with your comments about what savings options have worked for you, what financial tips have worked for you. Share them in the chat below so that others can benefit from your wisdom. Remember to check out past episodes on YouTube and send us your questions and comments, and we look forward to seeing you next week.